Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda N. I hope you guys liked last week's more conversational topic. Next week I'm going to do the same thing while discussing the true crime community. But today I wanted to talk about Nightcrawlers. Not the bugs, but the people. Although Nightcrawlers aren't internet sleuths, you could say that they're cut from kind of the same cloth in a way. Both are people that get incredibly close to true crime cases and may have unsavory or unorthodox methods without actually being detectives. In the case of Nightcrawlers, though, it's referring to true crime photography. Though this has been fictionalized on Netflix in the film Nightcrawler, the stories behind it do hold a level of truth, and of course the movie Nightcrawler is what gives it its name. Arthur Usher Felling, known as Ouija, was a Ukrainian immigrant and famous photographer that was genuinely known for beating detectives to crime scenes and the unlawful tactics behind his job. His stories not only inspired this film, but they created a sort of sensational world around true crime to begin with. It's like the dark underbelly of paparazzi. Paparazzi of true crime? The epitome of if it bleeds, it leads, if you will. It's not as if you make a ton of money as a Nightcrawler. Some of my sources have said $50 to $200 a photo, which, while it sounds like a lot, if you only get a couple $100 for a shoot that takes you almost all night to find as you sit there listening to your radio scanner, it may or may not be a really good night. But some people seem to be in it for the thrill. Every station is different, every payout is different, every person is different, but we're going to talk about Victor Biro. He was interviewed for a Vice article, and while I know Vice isn't exactly the most reputable source here, there's not that many that talk about Nightcrawlers to begin with, so let's take a look at what they said. From the Toronto Star to Metro, National Post to The Sun, Biro shots of car accidents, crime scenes, and nighttime disturbances have been plastered on the front pages of Toronto's newspapers and media websites for over 5 years. Some of his shots feature the mangled remains of vehicles after fatal accidents. Others just show caution tape illuminated by the red and blue glow of police cars at the scene of a shooting. Up until 2008, Biro was working in the telecom industry. Despite having a love for cameras ever since he was a kid, Biro put his passion for photography on the back burner after he got into the lucrative world of telecom sales. At the peak in the telecom industry, Biro made good money, upwards of 6 figures he tells me, but the job just wasn't doing it for him. "It was not what I wanted to do," he said. "I wasn't contributing anything I felt was meaningful to society, and I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. Of course, the money was good, but I wasn't being true to myself." There are some who again do this job for the rush, as there are in any industry like this, any dark community. There are some paparazzi and some Nightcrawlers too, with ethics. But it's those that don't seem to give the same care and compassion to this work that are concerning. We've seen the real damage that paparazzi can do in modern day. Think about Britney Spears speaking out about it. Now imagine that happening with a dead body. Even if it's to a lesser extent because the dead can't speak out, this is really distressing to consider. That's not to say that this is what Ouija did, but it's worth keeping in the back of your head. Photographers like them, whether respectful or not, have made blood and guts fabulous, sensational, glamorous. It's fueled our love and fascination with true crime. The New York Times has written, tellingly, one of his, as in Ouija's, first acts of genius was to not only focus on the events themselves, although his images are certainly strewn with bodies, crushed automobiles, and the like, but on the people hanging out of windows or peering over rooftops for a better look, who mirror and encourage our own undisguised interest. One of his most famous photographs, The First Murder, captures a group of unsettled schoolchildren whose surging faces and torsos set the image aswirl. The motion is anchored by a distraught adult face toward the center of the scene that belongs to the aunt of the victim, a hoodlum named Pete Manusco. The image perfectly typifies what Diane Arbus admiringly called Ouija's wild dynamics, as well as the observation of John Skowarski, the Museum of Modern Art's prescient photography curator, that Ouija was not a reporter of the fabulist. This has helped create a really strange environment that I just wanted to introduce today. Ouija has always wanted to shoot a murder. He never got to, or at least according to my source, he said he never did. And I'm not sure that that's normal or a good thing, desiring to shoot a murder taking place. I really find it interesting to talk about true crime communities and the way that we handle these things and the way that we see darker topics, but I don't want to witness a murder up close, and the desire to is pretty alarming. I'm not trying to judge someone else, but wouldn't you be a little bit alarmed if someone said their dream was to shoot a famous murder? Shoot as in with a camera, at least? It's very strange to me, it's very puzzling, but what I think is so interesting is that Ouija's photos have inarguably been some of the things that have fueled our sensationalist attitude towards true crime in recent years. His unique photos that aren't at all medical, and the way that, television and the media handles it, it's definitely made things more fascinating in a paparazzi and glamorous sort of way. I'm really curious to see what you guys think of this. I wanted to just touch upon Nightcrawlers today, but there are other aspects of true crime that I want to talk about, especially considering that I'm going to do the video on the true crime community soon. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, if there's any other aspects of true crime that you want me to talk about. Nightcrawlers are just a small piece of the pie after all. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!